What's up, you good looking individuals? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm on WWE 2K22. I gotta start out by saying this is a pretty amazing game. 2K really outdid themselves with this one. And respectfully, in the future, if anyone mentions 2K, my mind is going straight to WWE. Also, if you guys want to join my March Madness giveaway, follow the directions on the screen or in the description below. The deadline is March 17th. Now, getting into the story mode, I was a bit confused. I'm filming with a phone. I don't know to look for a black couch or to wonder why I'm 3 feet tall. So naturally, my mind went to being the strongest and most powerful 3-footer that has ever walked this earth. None other than the 3-foot goat, Hasbulla. And for some reason, this game doesn't allow me to make a character 3 feet tall, but I made sure to do my best making Hasbulla look as realistic as possible. Obviously, he's jacked out of his mind. He's got veins popping out of his skin and just a touch of David Hasselhoff chest hair. I made sure to copy this man's drip from head to toe out of pure respect. And I'm not even joking when I say this guy has a better fashion sense than me. But to be fair, I have to buy adult clothes so they come at full price. So I've got his ring attire, the more casual clothes that he wears, and his entrance attire is him in a suit. The man is first and foremost a businessman. I got his pose right, and I made sure to leave some proof of all the knuckle sandwiches this guy is giving out. I'm not going to show much of training camp. It wasn't that entertaining, and I also needed the training camp myself. I haven't played a WWE game since 2K14. In every conversation, I gave the meanest response available. It's my first day, and I'm already telling this poor guy I'm going to injure him. Some of my key moves that got me through training camp were landing on people's family jewels and kicking people repeatedly while they were down. In my last fight of training camp, my skill still hasn't developed much. I actually won this round off submission, and I have no clue how I did it. I was just hitting a bunch of buttons. The real tragedy is that my victory started a domestic dispute in the background. I have no clue what's going on, but this man is just getting abused and taking it. So I made sure to wrap this fight up quickly, and afterwards I had 3 offers from all the fighting organizations in the game. Honestly, I meant to sign with the SmackDown representative, Adam Pearce. The guy showed up in a nice suit, and he already proved to me that he can take a metal staircase to the face like a champ. When it came to talking to the Raw representative, I thought I was just going to mess with her and she wouldn't want to sign me, and I accidentally signed up with her. So that's what my career is based off of now for the rest of the game. After arriving to Raw, I was offered my first fight, and blah blah blah. It's a no disqualification match. I'm in. Hasbulla's walk-in is as serious as it can get, and my opponent's walk-in is the opposite. This guy's showing off already. He's gonna get smashed with weapons. I still didn't understand the controls of the game perfectly, so I did have some mishaps. I ended up hurting myself more than he hurt me. Instead of getting some distance on this guy and then pulling out a small weapon or something like that, I pull out a whole ass table right in front of him. And this referee was bold enough to call a rope break on me. I thought there was going to be no rules at all in this match, but it turns out in this game, the referees are fair game.
The ref caught the front of that.
Shortly after, I got back to the legal assault with a deadly weapon.
And he's taking this to the outside now. He isn't finding any space to recover.
My opponent had heart though. He was willing to just walk straight towards me while I had a weapon in my hands. And again, I accidentally pulled off the submission, and look at the hustle by the referee. It's almost like I taught him a lesson. In my next fight, sadly, the weapons were not allowed, so I had to go back to my old method of using my feet to crush their balls. But I did find a few more ways to do this, and I was actually getting better at the game. So by the time I had my next tag team fight, it was essentially a 1v2. The guy in my corner was just a cheerleader. My method here was to beat the cock out of this cock, and then I'd go over and beat the guy who's trying to tag in. It worked fairly well until I went for a submission, and then I just got blindsided, and my teammate does nothing about it. Really appreciate it. I was having my way with a ricocheted fighter, and then the cock is trying to tag into the fight, so I ended up dishing out some pain to both of them at the same time.
They stuck it out through this match, but it wouldn't hurt to go for the tag soon here.
I ended up getting the submission here, and thankfully the cock missed because so did my teammate. All he was good for was to show up and look cute, but Hasbulla, being the man of peace that he is, still gave credit to his partner in the fight. For my next career move, I used the Jake Paul method. I picked a fight with a retired fighter who is much more popular than me, that being Kane. Things started off pretty kinky as he threw me down on my back. Then I proceeded to beat the living shit out of him, but he was able to stop my signature ball crusher move. This guy means business. Again, this guy's just tossing me around the room like I'm an NFL wife, and then out of nowhere, he pulls out a chair. I didn't even know that was an option, but no need to worry. I'm a 280-pound ninja. I tried to pull out a weapon myself, but I wasn't able to, so I had to settle with knocking him out with his own head. I had a fight later this night, and I had to get out some of my pent-up aggression on this poor soul. I also knew I would have to be fighting Kane soon, so I made sure to get a ton of practice in. I could have put an end to this fight about 20 minutes ago, but this unconscious dude made for a great practice session. Out of nowhere, this guy morphed into a pimp on steroids, so I had to wrap this thing up. But shit, the lights turned off, and that means trouble. I tried hitting the counter attack on him.
Chokeslam!
So I did end up having to fight Big Daddy Kane. Here's a great example of my small stature paying off. He tries to grab me here, but he reaches too high up, so I end up catching him with a nice combo, and then I find a way to body slam myself because I am still pretty bad at this game. Later on, I hit him with my signature move and submit him, but would you look at that, there's another large man behind me trying to take advantage of me. Feels like I'm working at a frat house.
Let's see how tough he is now. Undertaker's not going to wait. And there he goes. He wants nothing to do with the dead man.
So for my next fight, I'm going to face the Undertaker and Kane in a tag team matchup with the most unlikely partner, Randy Orton. I'm over here dressed like a civilized adult, and Randy is dressed like he's going to a BDSM meeting at a motel. The giant grandpas come out and they have the slowest walkout I have ever seen. I'm not sure if they're trying to intimidate us or get a last second stretch in. Either way, this is really starting to look like a drag show with a bunch of extra steps. This fight is no disqualification, so thankfully I can use deadly weapons as much as I want. I was taking care of my old man pretty well, but I had to save Randy a couple of times. The only person you're going to see manage this much size better than me is Piper Perry. Oh no, Randy, you're flying. I've got you. Randy was going for a submission here, so I had to put an end to that myself. We ended up getting our shit together, and I thought this was going to be a really cool ending to this fight. I was submitting the Undertaker, and Randy Orton pulls out an RKO right on the third count. But yeah, apparently I can't read, so we're going to have to do that again. But all I needed was a chair and the freedom to touch another grown man's thigh, and we won again. Somehow we managed to duplicate the ref. The Undertaker immediately goes inside the fresh meat. And Jesus, I thought I was tough on the ref. I have a lot to learn from Randy. I think he just paralyzed him. For my final fight of this video, I am facing the Undertaker one-on-one in a Hell in a Cell match. Of course, the Undertaker arrives in a full face of makeup and leather outfit. He lets down his luscious hair and slowly takes off his top, revealing his large breast. Shortly into the fight, he's looking under the cage for a weapon. I'm curious what he'll pull out, so I wait on him to do it. I'm expecting a leather whip, but a sledgehammer? Silly Undertaker, I can't allow that. We were fighting outside of the cage, and honestly, I'm glad he threw me through this wall because I could not figure out how to do it, but I did want to fight up top. He was still beating my ass outside the cage. He had a great opportunity to hurt me, but instead he starts climbing up the cage. I respect the power move play right there, so I start climbing up with him. Once he gets to the top, I wasn't sure if he was stretching or showing off, so I thought I'd give him some distance and get warmed up myself.
This crowd is truly unworthy of his stuck in the dead man's grasp. There it is.
After he attempts to murder me a handful of times, I get him laid out on his back. But like the gentleman I am, I try to let him get up so I can just kick him off the cage. I tried dragging him off the cage, but I wasn't able to, so I did have to stop in the middle of the fight to study some of the controls. As soon as I figure it out and have an opportunity to do it, he kicks me in the face. That wasn't cool. So I end up throwing him off the top of the cage, and he is somehow still breathing. I was trying to body slam him from up here, but instead I just awkwardly climbed down. The savage that this man is invites me to the top of the cage again. I got the best of him in this exchange, and I thought I was going to be able to send him through this section, but I wasn't able to. But I must have hit him with a hidden Bill Cosby move because he almost falls off on his own after getting up. Then he proceeds to elbow me in the face and fall off because of it. So my next play is to camp at the top of the cage. I try pulling a very dirty move and kick him off as he's climbing up, but it didn't register in the game. He then slams me through the section I was trying to throw him through earlier. I mean, I loosened it up for him, but he is able to submit me and win the fight. I really just lost on easy mode in front of thousands of people. But that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I love this game. You should go check it out. It's a little bit pricier than usual, but it's well worth it. Use an Ethernet cable, shoot your shot, and Hasbulla, stay safe. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one.